Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the ESS BIZTOOLS and our affiliates COVID-19 Survival Panel. This is session 21 of this series of webinars to assist accountants and business advisors to be better able to advise clients during these challenging times. Today we have two very interesting speakers who are going to speak on an update on the financial position going forward and the modern practice brought to you by Cloud9 Group. Our presenters are Ashley Evans, finance broker and partner at AAA Financial Solutions. How are you today, Ashley?
Very good, thanks, Peter.
That's great. And we have Priscilla B. Smith, Director of Cloud9 Associates. How are you today, Priscilla?
I'm very well, thanks for having me.
Thank you, and thank you for both of you for joining us today. If you've got any questions, if you're watching this live, can you click on to chat and type in your question, please? And if you're watching this broadcast on the Facebook Live channel, can you send me an email if you've got any questions, please? peter@essbiztools.com.au. An update on the financial position going forward. Ashley's an ex-bank manager and is the managing director of a financial broking business and a business consulting business based in Townsville. Welcome, Ashley, and I'm going to pass the screen across to you and you can make your presentation, please.
Thank you very much, Pete.
You're on air now, so.
Thank you. We got those slides up, Pete?
Yes, they're there, so it's away to you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, and it's good to be a Friday again. So, look, Peter's just asked me to talk about, I guess, an update on the position. There's been obviously a very busy year, obviously with the virus and the bank's reactions to that, along with various government packages and stimuluses along the way. So I just thought I'd spend a bit of time. It has been a very active and busy period since March. So just a couple of little slides to let you know about us, AAA Plus Financial Solutions, and we also do have a consulting arm that we commenced earlier this year, broker to partner. The agenda that I was just going to look at today was who we are, the economy. I was talking to Peter the other day about this, and I really believe it's almost like driving a manual car, the clutch and accelerator. Credit reforms, some very topical news came out this morning in our local paper, which I'll run through from the Treasurer. The home builder grants, just a bit of an update on how I've seen that actually roll out and be accepted by the lenders and the builders alike. The lenders, just a bit of an update on how I see things going there, and as you see there, a backlog. So there's certainly very much an increase in the workflows through them at the moment. The asset write-off and any question and answers there. A little bit of a blurb about us. We've started in 2001. We've now got 8 brokers in our business and an office manager and 3 people in the consulting team. And we've got about 3,000 clients, largely Queensland, but there is a number spread around the country. Everything from personal loans, home loans, business, rural and equipment finance. So yeah, happy to help with any questions or opportunities that anybody might have. Resetting the economy. So major steps to reset the economy. So obviously JobSeeker, I beg your pardon. The supplements halved as at today, the 25th of September. And JobKeeper is going to be obviously progressively scaled back over the next 2 quarters, as I understand it. And this will scale down further in the first quarter of 2021. As I just touched on there, just how I'm seeing things out there, I think that obviously it's a little bit of an issue with the health, obviously, is still very important, particularly down in Melbourne with obviously the second and so forth outbreaks. A lot of border restrictions still up. I guess noting with the school holidays, some states are trying to scale those back. I just believe that the governments of both state and federal, they just really need, I believe, to start letting, as we drive a car forward, a manual car, you've got to let the clutch out. Got to push the accelerator down a little bit, and I think there just probably needs to be, what I'm trying to say there is, I think there just needs to be a little bit of balance. I know it would be hard, but a little bit of balance between the economy and the health issues with the virus. Obviously, we've always got to maintain those health issues there, but as we're driving a car, we want to move it forward, and I think probably that it's time to start trying to drive the economy forward. Without too much more delays. I was having my newsly this morning about 5 o'clock, and I came across this on page 18, I think it was, of the Townsville Bulletin. It's perhaps a little bit hard there to read, but I've taken a photo and put it on the slides there. But from a finance broker, I can absolutely, I almost did a dance or a jig around the table this morning. Credit reforms on their way. So in essence, what our Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg's saying there is that since the GFC in 2009, he goes back that far, that the government has been putting a lot of extra restrictions and policies in place that we, as finance brokers and lenders, have to adhere to. And I think it might be in that second or third paragraph where the pendulum, as he calls it, the pendulum has just gone way too far to the lenders having absolutely 100% responsibility, and the client actually having almost virtually no responsibility for what they're applying for and what they're signing up for. And I think as with the health and the economy, I think the seesaw or the balance has got way out of line. So I'd have to agree with him. And it is stymieing the economy. And look, since the Royal Commission, probably almost 2 years ago now, with the findings coming out in February last year, the paperwork and reform has absolutely gone through the roof. And what that's meaning is it stymies credit, and it stymies the economy ultimately. And I, for one, can certainly, and our business can certainly concur with that. I just went to see an existing client who looked recently to refinance his home loan. And it got to the point after 3 months of dealing with ANZ, trying to refinance, and the paperwork he gave to them a month ago was now out of date. He had to go through the whole process again. It was all just too hard. And he was actually looking at getting some money out of that home loan to go and expand his business a little bit. So it's just very welcome news. Look, it is, from what I read here, it is, I think the Reserve Bank Governor, Phil Lowe, has been championing the government, and I'm sure the banks have been in the background, but it's just got too far out of whack. And I understand it possibly will state till the last paragraph there, it may take 6 months for the new laws to come into effect. But yeah, all I can say is very welcome news, and long overdue. In that one there, I'm sure probably the national papers around the country would have carried that article as well.
Ashley, is this a change of law? So has it got to go back through Parliament, or has the Treasurer got?
Yes, it
What's
does.
likely to happen in the Senate then, do you think? Do you think they're likely to support or oppose something like this?
Yeah, I'm hoping they'd support it, because it is a real issue, and there's a few reasons for some of these, which I'll come up in the following slides. But like in Queensland, with housing, we've got 14-day finance clauses and 30-day settlements. The lenders aren't even picking up a file for 3 or 4 weeks. That's sort of how the backlog. And there's a few other reasons, not just the policies and reforms that have come in from the government, but it is basically, if I can summarise it, we have to, as a lender with a duty of care, responsible lending, they more recently call it, which is a law. We have the clients have to show that they have been living with the loan for 12 months, or for up to 12 months. In my day, I'm 49. In my day, and up until the last couple of years, people would get engaged and married, and obviously then look to buy a house typically, and they would reform their spending habits. Again, having children, you would just reform your discretionary spending, and people have got common sense to do that. Whereas these laws that came out with responsible lending really gave all the responsibility to the lenders and gave no responsibility to the clients to actually reform and adjust their spending habits, which is I think just it's gone a step too far, and I'm glad to see it's taken a while, but I'm glad to see they've taken some measures to do that. So
okay, that's great, and hopefully that's going to help businesses, and from our viewers as accountants, it's going to make life a bit easier for some of your clients, some of their clients, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, some of these people we see, I mean, businesses, they come in to see us. I mean, they need money in a week, not 3 months.
Yeah.
They need to buy a vehicle, delivery vehicle. They've got, they've got a contract opportunity, and it shouldn't take that long, to be quite frank. And we've always, I've been in lending 33 years, and we've always assessed. We never got a name and address and just gave people 500,000. It was always assessed properly, and but it's just, as I say, just gone a little too far. But yeah, there's a few little steps there. Summarising, by simplifying the loan process, it'll reduce barriers to switching between credit providers and encouraging consumers to get a better outcome. And that's obviously a piece out of that article. Lenders will be able to simplify credit assessment for lower risk loans while complying with lending standards. Moving on to the home builder grant. I won't bore you with all the steps there. You can sort of read through it. I'm sure most people are aware of the criteria, or the eligibility, should I say. But obviously the federal government came out on the 4th of June and announced the home builder grant. Obviously, it was one of the levers that they were. Interest rates are very, very low, so there's probably not much they can do with interest rates as a lever to generate or stimulate the economy. So these type of stimulus or government grants were introduced, which has been great. It's I think it has worked, but I will say, without trying to be too critical of our state government up here, but I think our state government took, it was announced by the federal government the 4th of June, and our state government came out on the 30th of July. So there was the best part of 2 months before anything came out. And when they did come out with it, it's actually been poorly administered and poorly established, in my humble opinion, where they've got an established grant there of the first homeowners grant of $15,000, where it is controlled and administered by the lenders. And that gives them confidence to incorporate or build that into their assessment of the loans. When our state government came out with this, the individual actually applies for it online, and the lender's got absolutely no control of it. And in fact, that $25,000 gets paid directly to the individual, so the lender has no control or no say over what happens with that money. So therefore, they are not including this in simple terms in their assessments, or they might do two assessments. If they do qualify and they do receive the grant, that's great, but we also need to do option B with some lenders to assess it without the receipt of this grant. So if they did allow the borrower or the lender to actually control this grant, I think it could have been a lot better for builders. But at the end of the day, without being too critical, it is stimulating interest and stimulating building activity. I've got a couple of builders in our precinct just here at work, and one of them came over this morning, and I know they've done 18 in the last month or so, and got plenty backed up behind that. So it's, it is really working and stimulating the local economy, not without some administrative issues coming forward. The lender's backlog. Yeah, so this is a combination of things. I've touched briefly on these, but a combination of earlier this year with all of the deferments and hardship cases that we've had to deal with the lenders or on behalf of the lenders. So people with equipment or home loans or other loans wanting to defer their loans. So we've had to deal with those and refer them into the lenders. So there's a lot of work and paperwork to do that. And then the Commonwealth Bank were probably the best. They actually flicked a switch in their IT department and everybody got that. You actually had to opt out of it. You had to actually request opt out of it if you wanted to. So it was an automatic thing with them. Many other lenders didn't have that IT capability, so it was a lot more manual. Now those deferments was for 6 months. So you'll find later this month, which we're almost there, but certainly most of them in October, that's when they're restarting again. So it'll be interesting to see how the economy and how the clients go with that. So, and then obviously we've then got, so there's obviously a lot of extra work created by that. They've had to pull a lot of resources from normal lending and other areas of the bank into handling those hardships and deferments. And then we've also had the stimuluses and the government grants, home builder, regional grants, adaptation grants, all the rest of them that have, I think, done very well. And I think I pat the federal government on and the state government in many cases that were involved for escalating and accelerating a lot of those. Would typically take 6 or 9 months to go through legislation. They got them out in a matter of weeks, so they are working. But obviously, as a adjunct to that, I suppose that's also creating a lot of work, which is good. But it's pulling a lot of people forward that might have been borrowing for a home loan next year or the year after. It is bringing them forward to do it now, because there are time frames. The 31st of December with the home builder, it runs out. So yes, what that's meant, the combination of all that, is many lenders are taking 3 to 4 weeks just simply to pick a file up, let alone approve it. And then obviously with all the government regulations and reforms, I suppose, if a piece of paper or consents or whatever they might be, or budgets aren't there in totality, then things get put on hold. So. Obviously the lockdown too, in various areas of the country, a lot of the banks, a third or half of their workforce are working from home, etc. too. So that's presented some IT issues, etc. So that's probably contributed to some of the delays as well. So just bear in mind, we're just trying to set reasonable expectations with our clients that I've had a few today that just come in and just say, look, make it a 30-day finance and a 60-day settlement if you can. So I think that's, hopefully we get it done before then, but you just continually going backwards and forwards to getting extensions is both frustrating and, it does increase anxiety with purchasers and vendors alike. The asset write-off, again, that's probably another one that's contributed to an increase in work. So it's been extended obviously through to the 31st of December. Obviously, with the people on this webinar today are mainly accountants, so they'd be fully aware of that. So that again, whilst I don't think people should rush out and buy something, just because of this. But look, if they were thinking about it and maybe think about it early next year or mid next year, it probably makes sense to consider this, to bring it forward. It will certainly assist in their tax position. So just something we thought we'd throw in there. It does help if we've got if you do have a bit of equipment, it's good to have an equipment finance schedule. Again, it just helps us with submitting the loan and understanding existing commitments. So that's pretty much what I wanted to run through today. I'm not sure if there's got some time for questions and answers, but by all means, I'll be more than welcome to talk to any of the group, whether it's Queensland or around the country. We're always here and open to any queries or questions, and be more than happy to do that, whether it's directly or through Pete. So yeah.
Okay, thanks very much, Ashley. We don't have any questions, but if the people who are watching this live, if you have any questions, can you please type them into chat and send them through to us, and I will ask Ashley. Or if you are watching this as a recording later on at a time that suits you, or you're on the Facebook live feed, just send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I'll pass the question on to Ashley and send you back his answer. So in a nutshell, Ashley, for accountants out there, they've obviously got to keep an eye on what's happening with the government and the banks, and but there's a fair bit of activity in the financial area in trying to make life a little bit easier. Would that be right?
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. Look, I think there is a lot of goodwill out there between the governments and the lenders. They don't always get it right, obviously, but yeah, I think there is. You know, I often think about this. I wonder what the world was like in 1918 when the last virus came through, and obviously it's a much smaller world. I mean, it's obviously population-wise much bigger, but obviously with technology and travel, it's a much smaller world, and the economies are really an international economy now rather than just obviously back then it was. You look at Australia, I mean, you basically did everything yourself, manufacturing to resources to building to everything, and probably there was very little trade, I would suspect. So, yeah, it's interesting, and I guess that does provide some. Of course, we're having some challenges with China, I guess, at the moment, but it does allow us. I know the governments are working very strongly with some other countries, India and the US and other countries in Asia, I suppose, to try to provide some stimulus in the trading arena, which I think will be exciting by itself as well. Probably to dilute the focus just on China so much. So, yeah, I think there'll be some good coming out of it, and but yes, there is. It is pleasing to see some of the red tape, and I think all industries are probably suffering from that. And I think it's time that they unshackle some of those things, and that's yeah. It's just in some areas it's pleasing to see the governments and the banks working together and to try to help the economy. Because look, we are. The country's incurred a lot of debt, and we're going to need to get all the shoulders to the wheel, so to speak, to work our way through it. But yeah,
that's for sure. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ashley. Are you staying with us this morning?
Yes, I will. Thanks.
Okay,
Pete.
righto, mate. So we'll talk a little bit later on, and you might have some questions of Priscilla.
Yep.
So I'm just going to take you back, and now I'm going to present. Okay, so that was very interesting what Ashley had to say. Our next presenter is Priscilla B. Smith, who's a director of Cloud9 Group in Brisbane. Priscilla's going to talk to you about the modern practice, and I'm sure she's got some interesting things to say to you today. So, Priscilla, are you there? We'll switch across to you now. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Most welcome. And you're on screen, so you're away. Thank you. Your slides are up.
All right. Hope you can all see this. Thanks for joining us today. And I take the opportunity while I'm on the COVID-19 panel, survivor panel. I was invited by Peter, and it's a very big privilege to me to be here. What we're trying to, I was invited, and thank you for that. So I am Priscilla Smith, tax agent, senior accountant at Cloud9 Associates. And Peter Towers, we are associated with Peter Towers, and we are using his BIZTOOls with very much success. because the advisory tools he can present and he has for us, they are invaluable resource for us these days. And it was there before. We are using the tools for 5 years, and we are very grateful for Peter's work. He's done an exceptional work with that. So Cloud9 Group is not an entity itself, but it is formed by different entities. Cloud9 Associates is a tax agent company. Cloud9 Group is the website of the Cloud9 Accounting Hub. And the Cloud9 Academy joined the Cloud9 Group. This is a mentorship program. This is our membership program. So you're going to see how we operate in the future. But we are all grouped in with one mission, vision, and values. Now, our mission is to empower accounting professionals with tools and knowledge in order to achieve their goals. Our vision is innovation, automation, and the cloud. Our values are integrity, consistency, and responsibility. So all the entities are functioning under this mission, vision, and values. So what I want to share with you today, because we can see a wind of change in our industry. Accounting industry went through changes lately, and it's very hard not to observe them. And we developed our own modern practice model. And this is our vision of the future of the accounting firms. We believe that change has to follow in order to stay relevant in the next decades. And mostly at the moment, first, let's try to survive the COVID challenge. And so our modern practice model operates under low overheads, implementing innovation, automation, the cloud, bringing efficiencies, improved processes, improved workflow, improved communication, saving time and money to us and the clients, developing new revenue streams, and how to take care of our best asset, the team. So low overheads means restructuring the practice in the way that it can operate low overheads. I was challenged on this topic by many things, that we did develop the low overhead model. And you're going to be surprised when you come and chat to us, how does it work? It is possible, and then we implemented it, and we can save so much money in operating your practice when you come reach out to us, and we will have a good discussions about how is this possible. Innovation. Now, without innovation, there is no change. Latest technologies, they have to come in place, because without this, there is no survivor in the next decade. We looked around innovation, and the biggest question here, it is innovation that's fine, but what actually works? We did look around in the past 5 years, and we did adopt the latest and the best one which works. Of course, every practice has a different size, different values, different vision, and different goals. But innovation is and it can be implemented at any level. Smaller practice, medium practice, and larger practice. So the question, which one works for us, can be answered in the moment we sit down and tackle the project for you. Automation, again, implementing expert platforms. We are associated with these expert platforms. You don't have to we didn't reinvent the wheel. We are working with the expert platforms, which they developed it exactly for us and for us to enjoy and implement. So we do have the answer for this. There is amazing companies out there working on automation in our industry. The cloud, of course, the cloud is the key, and it is the future. And I was told that many accounting practices, they are shy away from it. They didn't feel the urge to do this, to shift to the cloud, all the systems. But today, it is very imperative to look into it and actually with implementing the cloud. This is one key to low overheads. And yes, our clients are saying, embrace it, don't resist it. It's coming, it is with us. You can't skip it. Just enjoy the journey. Okay, so efficiency that we have to look at, improve the time management. And I was told that efficiency in Australia was very low, right? And these days, because of COVID-19, and not just because of that, it was about time to actually improve efficiencies in the workplace. And efficiencies come again with the cloud technologies, with expert platforms, which they are in place, and again, improve time management for the team and for the managers. Improve processes, it has to be reformed. What worked 2 decades ago or even 5 years ago is not going to work in the next 2 decades. So we have to look into this. And how are we going to achieve this? Actually, the improved workflow comes with implementing new CRM programs, implementing new training programs for the team to learn the new technologies. And the real key here is the new integrated systems building. Now, you can try to implement new technologies and workflows and stuff, but they have to talk to each other. They have to be integrated. And it is not expensive, thinking, oh, how are we going to achieve this and stuff like that. In the moment this system, they talk to each other, everything goes fluently through the practice at the press of a button, saving so much time, so many resources, and in the long run, low overheads, we can achieve that. Improve cash flows. Yeah, so we are also in touch with experts on debtors management programs. They offer these programs and they are specifically tailored to accounting practices, so they need to improve their debtors management. We are in close relationships with them, associated with them. Please come to us and talk to us, because you're going to be surprised how all the worries you had in collecting debts, they're going to go away. They can implement it in 2 days. So, and our vision was, this is the experts doing this for you. You'll be surprised. And package services fixed fees. Now, we have to make an effort, and I think all accounting practices, in order to innovate, they have to start to package their services with fixed fees. Clients are expecting to know how much they're going to pay for the service. It is, the transition can be a bit shaky, like we're thinking that we might be out of pocket if we quote fixed fees, but as you go along and in a few months' time, you're going to actually be able to actually adapt and shake in, and the fixed fees will also give you profits, even if at the beginning was a bit a learning curve how to adapt them. The new generation of business people coming in, there's a new generation coming through, and they expect this kind of package services. So if you look around and stuff like that, in order to entertain the newcomers in business, just look into this. And I read very many success stories about fixed fees. Please research how others do it, but we can implement this for you. I tell you, it's going to be a bit few months till you adapt to the, to charge the right fees, but it's worth it because in the long run you can win. With these new revenue streams, now we believe in this, and we are doing this for 5 years since we exist. We are forming new associations. Forming associations means that we will enter associations with companies like Ashley. We had enter associations with companies like Peter has his BIZTOOLS in order to help us. We don't want to be the expert of everything. We can't be loan brokers, we can't be tool builders, we can't be the advisory tools database, but we will form associations with these amazing leading companies which can help us to actually go through our work. So we don't have to spend time building and reinventing wheels and templates and stuff like that. There is many companies out there who they already done the work, and we just help ourselves to that. And in the same time, forming associations, I found is a good source of new revenue streams, because we're getting kickbacks from the loan brokers, we are getting kickbacks from associations we make, and we will not associate with the ones who, even from debtors management programs, we will not associate with the ones who they are not beneficials for us. And this is, we call it new revenue streams. We will get commissions from those associations. Amazing thing, there's plenty of them out there who they would like to build their business helping accounting practices. Yeah, so the managers of accounting practices, they have to learn new skills. And this is imperative. Every expert book I did read, and they talking about the modern practice of the future, they stress it out. Never stop learning. You have to learn all the time. We need to learn the new skills, not just the programs. Everything is changing in our industry. We have to be on the top of it. We have to be a pro advisor. And as Peter is prompting us, become a pro advisor, learn new skills, learn your new advisory skills. So now you accomplished very well the compliance, but add to your skill set a pro advisor skill set, because this is gonna bring again new revenue streams. And the new generation and even the old generation now, they're expecting a package service. They expecting a holistic service, not just a tax return. We will have to be all that for the client. So we have to be the proactive. As we do buying advisory tools from experts, I mean buying them from Peter Towers. He is the best in Australia, and I can assure you, we are using them for 5 years. You will never find better tools. And just Peter is with us today, and I'll prompt you how to reach out to him and how to actually get the best tools available in Australia today. And joining mentorship programs. We developed the mentorship programs for startup accountants, for the accountants who would like to implement innovation. Please talk to us. We have been there, and we've been watching all the changes, and we do have the answers. And I wanted to talk to you about the team, which I believe is the most valuable asset in any accounting firm. These days with the COVID and lockdown, I had quite a few ideas before I started the presentation to share with you how to take care of the team remotely. I thought that you should build a group training for them, something they look forward to weekly, fortnightly or monthly, just initiate group training programs where they can participate, they can get involved and stay together, like just the way we are now. Or the team can stay on a Zoom call, on a video call, and get interactive with the mentor you engage. There are many mentors out there, and there's many topics to learn these days. And I'm sure that the team is going to appreciate that you are taking care of them and taking care of their professional continuous education. You can't neglect this aspect. And offer them incentives. I mean, I had so many clients coming to me this season saying that, well, I had to buy a computer, I had to buy a printer, I had to pay for my internet and stuff like that. I understand, yes, the government does offer people who they had to work from home a small amount of refund or incentive for working from home. But it has to be you, the manager. If you want to take care of your team, you have to offer incentives for your work, like your employees and the team. Like, why not you initiate? I said you have to work from home in the extended periods of time. I don't expect you to buy the computer from your pocket. I don't expect you to pay all the bills and stuff, and still expect you to produce at high level. You will have to actually reach out into your pocket, and if you want your team to stay happy, you will have to become generous with them and look into how you can supplement the extra expenses they have now in the lockdown. So they will appreciate it and they will stay loyal to your company. Otherwise, they might shift to some company who does it. And happy and safe environments, like, again, even if it's online, we've seen very happy environments on Facebook, everywhere, people on Zoom, meeting and trying to stay happy, exchange ideas, exchange challenges, and helping each other once a week, just the way we used to do on Fridays. Doesn't matter. Why not just order a bottle of drink for everybody to home, so they can actually raise a glass a Friday afternoon, just the way we always did it. So not from their pockets, from your pocket. Try that. Let's see how it works. And offer flexible hours and job sharing. So these days, we have the moms picking up children. They would appreciate flexible hours. Why not offer those kind of job, how can I say, flexibility? While working from home, they can do job sharing. So they don't have to feel inadequate because they have to break down their day, dropping off children, picking up children. Try to do the roles in the way that they will appreciate it and they don't have to feel guilty about they have to miss in action for 1 or 2 hours a day. So try to actually reform, as I said, the rigid ways of we looked at the workforce in the past is changing. Yeah. So our Cloud9 membership program has 4 levels, but the silver level, when you go to Cloud9 Group website, that's where the membership program is lined out. Our silver level is dedicated to implement innovation and new technologies in accounting firms. The other ones is more for startups and following individual goals. But here, silver level, it was even we had to reform it and adapt it to the market because there is a need that accounting firms, they are reaching out what works, what doesn't. We do know, we have been there, and we can really help you if you are stuck and you don't know which technologies to choose. And the change is real and it's happening now. Don't resist it. embrace it, and join us for your success, because we are already associated, as we knew, with the experts, and that's all you need. Experts tools, you need support, which we can give you. Amazing support, implementation of new technologies, and Peter has the advisory tools for you to actually support you in expanding your services and bringing in new revenue streams and stay and remain relevant in the future, survive the COVID-19 challenge, survive any challenge, because if you put the foundations right and you embrace the change, you will be able to stay on the top of it. And the way you can reach out to us, you can find me and you can also contact me through the Cloud9 Group website, where you can actually get concerned about our membership programs. The Cloud9 Academy, I think we had that summer. The Cloud9 Academy website, it is a mentorship website. So Cloud9 Group, it is the membership website where we can support accounting practices. Peter Towers, he is available and he can be reached out. He's got amazing advisory tools, and please have a good look at it. And he's gonna walk you through it. He's got the recordings on his website. Go and get concerned what he can do for you. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. Thank you for your comments and your enthusiasm. Ashley, have you got any comments on the strategy that Priscilla was outlining then for accountancy firms to adapt? Ashley might have got called back into his office. You're not there, Ashley. Okay, well, let's. I found that very interesting, Priscilla, in that overview, and I think it's really the way accountants have got to work in the future, tapping into various experts who will develop various product packages for them under, now there's a whole range of activities accountants undertake these days, isn't there? So I don't think anyone's really going to be able to develop all this material themselves. They need to tap in, and that's really why we've got ESS BIZTOOLS. And, you know, there are other suppliers out there who are supplying material relative to financial planning and audit and other activities of accountants.
Exactly. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. When I started this Cloud9 Group, I was thinking, how long is going to take me to build all those tools, you know? And this was a time when I started to look around. Maybe somebody has the tools. And this is when I find you. And it was 5 years ago. And I never had to look back. I never had to look back. It was always it is always an expert thing. And it is much more than you expect. I couldn't imagine that is such a vast, you know, library and your work. It was just, you know, perfected and very complete. You're gonna find everything you need. You're not gonna be able to believe it. So for me,
I find things I need to keep on writing, but yeah. So
I admire your work, because it would have taken me. I don't know how long it took you, but I'm thinking, minimum to develop the minimum tools I needed. It would have taken me 2 years. And first step, your first page saved me 2 years. The first or the first few tools I found.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Priscilla. We're just going to move back and continue on. We will now go to this one. And I want to now give everyone a COVID-19 news update. You've undoubtedly viewed some of this, but the Treasurer has been busy this week Ashley referred to an announcement that he made yesterday, and earlier in the week he made some other announcements. So companies will face softer financial disclosure rules until the 23rd of March next year. This is primarily for public companies, listed companies, but some of you accountants out there are obviously acting for these companies, and the federal government is relaxing the rules a bit on for them because of the problems in the economy. So this is primarily going to relate to company directors and executives, where they give the business outlook guidance to investors. They're going to be given some protection from the continuous disclosure law. I was a public company chief financial officer and company secretary some years ago, and these disclosure rules do keep you on your toes, and they do cause a lot of nervousness within company leadership teams. So the fact that the government is dispensing with those requirements, unless there has been a serious breach relative to knowledge, recklessness, or negligence with respect to updates on price-sensitive information. And that's the important qualification that the Treasurer has made in this announcement. And I know vast majority of accountants wouldn't get involved in these type of activities in any case, but bear it in mind, because it will also have some flow over to information that's been made available for clients that might not have their businesses listed on the stock exchange. For argument's sake, if you have a client that's raising capital utilizing crowdsourced funding and they're in the 90-day capital raising period and something has happened, that is price sensitive information, and you need to be very careful there. The intermediaries, in fact, Matt Vitale from Virtual was our keynote speaker last week in a small business webinar, and he indicated that they have a strong rule within Virtual that if anything like this happens, the company has to prepare an updated summary for the marketplace. So it's great that the Treasurer is acknowledging that this is a problem and this might be forcing businesses not to be as proactive as what they normally might be. But make sure that you're not a party to anything that's going to affect price-sensitive information. Otherwise, you will not have that protection. So this relief makes it harder for class action lawyers who are in the government sites. There's no doubt about that. It makes it harder for them to sue companies in their offices during the uncertainty created by COVID-19. But companies and directors, whether you're on the stock exchange or raising money as crowdsourced funding or early stage innovation company, or just a Section 708 capital raising, need to be aware that the information has to be accurate and correct, and otherwise there will be consequences at some stage. The regulatory shield that's relating to the matters I just talked about joins insolvency relief for SMEs. That's also been extended into 2021. These extensions are not going to last forever. So sooner or later, your clients, if they are having difficulties, are going to have to face up to them. So I believe now's the time to be really trying to take some action with those clients. They need business plans, budgets, cash flows. They need mentoring advice. They might need some restructuring. I think it's very advisable that you talk to them about doing it now rather than waiting until the temporary protection legislation or regulations that the government's introduced have finished, and they will be finished. in 2021, just as JobKeeper and JobSeeker are going to finish. And there is a date for reality. But the planning for that reality, I think, should be starting now. Please don't wait until March 2021 to sit down and have a serious discussion with your clients. You need to be doing that now and introducing some of the systems that we have been talking about in the last 20 of these webinars. This is the 21st one we've produced. We can give you access to all of those so you can sit down and watch them. If you wish, listen to people like Andrew Geddes, Paul Barnaby, today's speakers, Mark Holton, talk about issues confronting accountants and your clients. Just a reminder that next week, the new coronavirus SME guarantee loans commence. These are the ones that are 50% guaranteed by the government. That was the same as the ones that expired this week. They're available from 1 October. There's an upper limit of $1 million. The loan can be used for any purpose, whereas the original $250,000 loan could only be used for working capital purposes. This one can be used for any purposes, according to the Reserve Bank and the government who have made this money available. And the applications are open until 30th of June 2021. But your clients are not going to be able to access these loans unless they have budgets, business plans, cash flow forecasts, and a real understanding of where they want to take their companies or their businesses. And that's where you come in helping them. I know most of you are very busy, especially in the first 2 weeks of every month in sorting out JobKeeper arrangements, but your clients still need you to be now thinking about the broader issues of how they're going to survive in 2021. Very important. So what should your action plan be? I think you need to think about the matters that Ashley and Priscilla have spoken to you today about. So you can contact Ashley or you can contact Priscilla. And if you can't remember their contact details, send us an email and I will pass it on to them. So why not visit us? At ESS BIZTOOLS, we have released our 2020-21 package. We call this the Premier Product Packages, which we think gets you right into business advisory services. You need to remember that many of your competitors have embraced this concept of business advisory services. In fact, the Commonwealth Bank's business review that was released in late June indicated that business advisory services had been selected by accountants all around Australia, different sized firms, as being the major business activity that they would be involved in the next 6 to 12 months. I hope that you're inclined, and these are the product packages that we have prepared for you so that you can offer these services. All you've got to do is read the material, watch the videos, participate in a training session with me, and you'll be ready to go. Survival in difficult times, really targeting on what you should be doing now, today, to get your clients reorganized. Chief Financial Officer Services. There's a lot more interest in CFO services I've noticed of late, especially out of younger practitioners. I think this is wonderful. Please keep it up. We have the materials to help you get started. The industry-specific advisory services is looking at things like the charge-out rates for your tradies. How long since you tested whether they are in fact going to generate the profit they're targeting? Or your own professional fees? Or your retail pricing strategies? Are they going to achieve the profit that's targeted? And business funding for SMEs. I think funding is going to be difficult in the next 12 months, 2 years, to get money from banks. Don't forget crowdsource funding, Section 708, early stage innovation companies are all opportunities, but your clients are going to need your assistance. Priscilla said to me before we started, I need to talk to you early next week about a client that wants to raise money with crowdsource funding. I've had 3 of those inquiries in this week. So there's a lot more interest out there. The crowdsource funding intermediaries are telling us they're all very busy getting organised because people are trying to raise capital. Some of those people might be your clients, and there's a fair chance that they will be referred to someone else to prepare the business plans, budgets, cash flows, unless you are proactively telling your clients that you can deliver those services. And if you are in that situation, don't put your arms in the air and say, we haven't got any pre-developed packages. We've got them for you. For a small subscription, you can have access to them. So please visit our websites, or you can telephone us or contact us for a telephone or a Zoom meeting. Our next presentation is on the 9th of October, so you can register for that. Please go, we're telling you on the site there. And our presenters are going to be Mark Holton, who's a director of Smith Inc. Proprietary Limited. And Mark's going to be talking about the Business Advisory Services software review that Business Fitness published a few weeks ago. And Matthew Karakalakis, who's the principal solicitor of AMK Law, is going to continue with his theme that he's been discussing throughout this series of webinars on the legal issues confronting businesses and accountants because of COVID-19. And if you need any more information, please contact us. So to all of you, especially those in Victoria, we are thinking of you. Stay safe. Thank you for being with us today. If you've got any further questions, please send us an email. Priscilla, thank you very much for being with us again today.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege.
Thank you. And Ashley, are you there?
Yes, Pete, I'm here.
Oh, okay, Ashley, thank you very much for your participation today. And
No worries.
I'm sure if people have got any questions or comments or discussions they want to have with you, we will hear from them, and I'll pass them on to you.
Thanks,
So
Pete.
to both of you, thank you for being with us, and have a great day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Priscilla.
I'll be in touch early next week.
Okay, thank you. Bye.